So the last couple of years have been adventurous. Why don't you tell us about some of the things that have come along in your life?
In September of 2020, good old 2020, there was a fire, the Lassen Valley fire, I think it was called, that ate up everything around our house. But we were displaced for 4 months, stayed with all Rise City people. We just kind of moved around. And then we were able to move back in the beginning of January, right after Chris deployed. So we moved back in while Chris was on deployment. In April, my brother was in an accident driving under the influence and had 4 of his children with him. 2 were pretty injured. My niece was severely injured and airlifted to Denver Children's Hospital. So my husband got home from deployment the same day of that accident. So I picked him up and said, can we have these kids, 4 additional kids? And he readily agreed, as Chris would. And so I flew out to Denver to get my niece, and my nephews were brought out by my aunt. And then June, the very beginning of June, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. So that brought on a bunch of challenges. 3 of the kids went back to stay with their mom, and we kept 1 nephew. And just kind of went through the summer. It was kind of a blur because I was really just sick the whole time. And then in September, actually on the 1-year date of the fire, my mom passed away. And then, I finished out chemo in October, and I had a single mastectomy in December, but also then discovered that the chemotherapy, it had been effective, but not as effective as they'd wanted. And I still had a significant amount of cancer left, so that I had to start a new chemo regimen that I'm now doing in addition to radiation. That this chemo will go all the way through December. And then that brings us to today.
And how have the relationships that were formed here, and there's more than we can talk about, there's so many people that are family, helped you through the last few years when you've had just, a number of things.
Some road bumps.
Yes.
Little speed bumps in life.
Yes.
God He really is our greatest provider. And I think one of the most obvious ways He provides for us is through His people. He gives us people in our lives that give us a tangible version of His blessing. The day of the fire, there was a Rise City Kids event, and me and my girls were all volunteering, we're all helping. Mariah was like, okay, Miletiches, all 7 of you, you're staying at my house. But then it just kind of it was like a ripple effect. It was just all these people just showed up. And then when we found out that I had cancer, that was emotionally probably the hardest blow we've ever dealt with, just dealing with something like that when, I was 38. It's just kind of shocking. But same thing, the amount of people that showed up, I still can't even believe it.
And then this year at the Christmas offering, the church was able to help you with some.
Yes, I have to tell you that
pretty
story.
Good chunk. Yeah, tell us.
I have to tell you. So Chris and I are on, we were driving. So we were living in Hamul, but northern Hamul, which is almost Alpine. So it's 1 hour and 6 minutes to get to treatment center where I was doing all my chemo and now radiation. So we're driving there and we're talking about how far this is. And radiation is every single day, 5 days a week for 6 weeks. And he was like, I'm the budgeter. I'm the financial nerd in our household. And he's like, babe, how's it gonna go? Our gas budget at that time was already $700 a month because we live so far away. He's like, are we gonna be able to do it? It's like, yeah. If we gotta pull money out of savings, that's what it's there for. It'll be fine. Clearly God has showed up so many times.
Right.
We're not worried about it. It'll work out. And I'm opening the mail as I'm talking about it, and I saw the Rise City envelope, but I thought it was a tax statement, the end of the year tax statement, and I saved it for last. And we're just talking, and I opened it, and I opened the letter, and the check fell out, and I was so confused, and I turned the check over, and I was like, oh my gosh! And he's on the freeway, this poor man, he's like, what? I was like, Rise City, they sent us money. And I'm reading it, and he was like, what? And I told him how much it was, and he was like, that's like enough gas for the year. It's
Yeah.
like, yes. But it was just so crazy that I was talking about it. And I do think God has a sense of humor. And I think I'm talking about it and God's like, oh, just wait. Just wait till you get to that envelope. Wait till you see what I'm gonna do for you.
Yes.
And that was, again, just such an overwhelming extension. I can't even, God is so good, he's so faithful. It makes me laugh because it's amazing.